And now for more on this year's NATO summit in Ankara, we're joined today by Dr. Christophe Gaudin, Professor of Political Science at Kookmin University. Professor Gaudin, thanks for coming on today.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So, at the NATO summit, President Lee Jae-myung called for expanding defense cooperation with NATO, and while meeting the NATO chief, they agreed to begin negotiations on a framework procurement agreement. How will this help promote Korea's defense industry among NATO members?
Oh, numbers say it all. I mean, the figure was cited in your news clip. The whole procurement agreement is estimated at roughly 15 trillion won or $10 billion. So it is definitely huge. And the reason for this is that Korea is producing technology, in particular chips, that other countries, and in particular NATO countries, don't. And also because of the situation in Ukraine, and also because the US, is pressuring other NATO members. NATO countries now have to buy these weapons, have to buy this technology fast. And it is a technology they don't produce. So Korea does produce it. NATO needs to move fast. And so therefore, this represents a huge opportunity for the Korean armament industry. So something, again, like $10 billion or 15 trillion won, so something immense, definitely.
I see. And President Lee's there after Korea lost its bid for a Canadian submarine program to a German shipbuilder. So given that South Korea is not a NATO member, would you say it's still significant that Korea was able to compete so closely with Germany? What does this tell us about the global competitiveness of Korea's defense industry, and what challenges does it still face?
I don't know the details. I don't know the specifics of this particular bid. You know, sometimes that's how market economy works. Sometimes you lose, sometimes you win. So what I can tell you is that first, as you mentioned it is in itself significant that Korea could participate despite being no NATO member. And also, if negotiations are taking place, it is also because the NATO, all of these NATO members in the future are intending to purchase Korean technology. So let's not react in an overheated way to this particular bid that was lost. And of course, we need to move on. We need to look forward to other bids that are to take place in the near future.
And more broadly, President Donald Trump said he's very disappointed with NATO on the first day of the summit. What do you make of him using the summit to step up more pressure on European allies to increase their defense spending?
Well, what I believe is that President Trump is using every single tool at his disposal. The US now, as you know, the situation the way it is, the operation in Iraq was a disaster. President Trump's position is growing increasingly weak domestically, and it's been a constant of this Trump's administration to try to withdraw from NATO so that other NATO members, in particular in Western Europe, finance their own defense. So all of this is in the continuity of the Trump administration. So basically, Trump likes to pose as a businessman. He wants others to pay. And so here, nothing new under the sun. This NATO summit is definitely in line with all other interventions that Trump has been trying to push for overseas since he's been elected.
I see. And ahead of this NATO summit, Russia launched another massive airstrike on Kyiv. And with the war now dragging on for more than 4 years now, how would you assess the current state of the conflict, and to what extent can the NATO summit help sort of create momentum for a diplomatic resolution to this war?
Not much, I'm afraid, because for the moment, this conflict in Ukraine is frozen, unfortunately. Russia, as we can tell, cannot manage to invade Ukraine, despite all of these strikes they're launching. Ukraine is not able, for very obvious reasons, to invade Russia either. So for the moment, no party is able to take the upper hand over the other. Putin does not want to negotiate. Zelensky is in position to resist for the time being. So unfortunately, I don't think much is to happen in the next weeks or months. What is most concerning about this conflict in Ukraine is that for the moment, we cannot see any light at the end of the tunnel. The situation is growing increasingly conflictual, with strikes happening not only in Ukraine, but also on Russian territory, as for instance with these images you're displaying right now. And there is no resolution to be expected in the next weeks. And I don't see how this NATO summit could do anything about it, unfortunately. So the short answer is no, I'm afraid.
I see, I see. All right, Professor Gaudin, thank you so much for coming on today. We appreciate it.
The pleasure was mine. Thank you.